What is up, lawyers, sawyers, and Frank Ocean enjoyers? Thanks for sitting down at the Messy Desk with me this week. Today, I just wanted to do kind of a simple video, really simple tip, just to remind you and remind myself of a functionality of the scene crossfader that I think for me specifically, and maybe for other people, sometimes goes a little unappreciated. I have this track here, and it's fine. It's half-baked, like all my tracks are. It's a couple years old, in fact. But I was going back and listening to it, and I realized that 2018 Daniel had a greater grasp on how to use the scene crossfader for B sections, and not just for the quick little turnaround effects that I so often do and profess my love for. So today I just wanted to go over kind of a quick couple ways that you can use the scene fader for B sections, and how I do it specifically in this track. So if that's okay with you, I'm going to get started now. And if it's not okay with you, that's okay. You have like freedom of choice or whatever. You can go watch something else. I hope you want. I hope you'll stay right here because I need you to. I need you. You specifically. I need you. Don't go anywhere. Watch this. It'll be useful maybe. So I have this song right here, and it sounds like this. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's 2 Frank Ocean samples. They're both from Self-Control, the best song he ever wrote. It makes me cry every single time. We don't really need to go over that. But what I have here is this little field sample of garden clippers. And it has a nice kind of low-key, easygoing vibe to it, right? It's not pounding you. It's not really impactful, but it kind of fits the mood. But I decided, I guess, that I can't live my life without using a clap and a big bass together at the same time. So what I wanted to do was have a B section where I have exactly that, a clap. And rather than just making a new pattern, because I don't know, I'm a psychopath, I guess, I decided to just assign it to a scene, which is kind of a fun and for me, more dynamic and easier way than switching between patterns. I don't know why I'm like this, but switching between patterns really screws with my brain and makes me feel way more pressured than just knowing, okay, I'm in this scene, I'll just switch to another scene and I'll be out of here lickety split on a command. I don't have to wait for anything. So yeah, let's go over that. So I have it here. And I have a clap here that is on this scene muted. On scene 1, it's always going to be muted. But on scene 16, it's unmuted. So if I slide over here, and you can hear something else is going on. I have some amplitude modulation, or maybe it's an LFO. Yes, I have an LFO on the volume of first Frank's voice here, which sounds like this. And that just lends a little more space to the track, I think, because I want that clap to kind of fill an empty space and hit really hard. So if we listen with this, right? I think that tremolo leaves space for the clap to hit. In fact, we can do a quick experiment wherein, let me go back to the sample here, wherein we don't have it, and let's see how it sounds. Oh, you know what? I think the amp is also modulated, so let's unmodulate that and hear how that sounds. Yeah, just doesn't really have the same kind of feel to it. So right there is an easy B section. And one of the things that I do so it's not so quick, like quicker transition, is I think what a lot of people struggle with, myself included, is feeling like, okay, I have this new section. How do I get to it without it feeling like, whoa, it came out of nowhere, right? Because I think very sudden changes can be jarring. Sometimes they can be good, but most of the time it's just going to confuse the listener in a bad way. So let's see how I did that. I have this other scene here, which is doing that same kind of thing with Frank's voice, and it's sort of unknowingly setting the listener up. So a transition I would like to do is start, at home base. Then move over. Preparing them. And here we go. And so I think that feels a lot smoother. I think it feels a lot more like it's built up. It's foreshadowed, and then like a good author, you fulfill that foreshadowing. Other stuff I have going on is that the clap has some weirdness going on. I have some conditional triggers here which mess with the amount and mix of the reverb. And I have it conditional to every second time. And when it comes back around, it gives us this interesting kind of like pre-delay effect, I guess. Let's just listen. Right here. I like it. Just subtle details like that. You know I love that kind of shit. And another thing I did is that on pattern 1, where we have this sort of syncopated thing that sounds like this, is that I have another... I'm using the same scene. This is the same part, so it uses the same scenes, because 2018 Daniel, for all he knew about the scene crossfader, knew nothing about parts. So this is all just using one part. So I can pull over to this scene. And I'm going to switch scene A to 2, and we'll see what happens. Now, I haven't opened this project in a couple years. I don't know what I was thinking with that clap pattern, but it's kind of weird, kind of cool. I don't know. I like it. So yeah, that's really it. That's all I wanted to show you, basically, is that it's less of a like complicated thing and more of a just like, hey, you should do this if you don't, because it's quite useful and very, very useful for performance, and kind of helps you, maybe even if you don't end up committing them to scenes, maybe what you can do after this is spread them out into patterns now that you've kind of conceptualized these transitions, and you can just go between them, you know, and not have to think as much about what is on what scene, and because it definitely has its downsides. But to kind of review, I think mute states, using your effects creatively, and I guess this is a part 2 of mute states, which is that consider that you can have a sample that isn't being used that on a certain scene can be used, right? This isn't being used on scene A, or A1 anyway, of most of the track. But when we switch over to B on 16 here, it is. Similarly, when we switch to A2, it is here. And that what that allows me to do also is that if I'm here, I can switch back over to this if I want to get this kind of feeling and still have the clap. So that's useful. Yeah, mute states, effects, use samples creatively. That's it. I hope you liked it. I hope it was useful to you. If it wasn't useful to you, you can yell at me down in the comments and say, this wasn't useful to me. And I'll say, I'm sorry. How can I make it useful to you? Would you like to hear a joke? Knock, knock. Doctor. But I don't remember how the Doctor Who theme song sounds. In any case, I will be back next week with another video. I'll tell you exactly what it's going to be on. It's going to be on this gentleman right here. If you think it's going to be an insightful video or a really impressive video, I don't know how new you are to the channel, but that's not what this is. It will mainly be me going, this is really different and tough and cool and fun and great, and you should buy one. Maybe mine, because I don't know if I'll hold on to it forever, but it's a really, really cool piece of kit. I'm excited to show you guys about it. Show you guys about it? I don't know. I'm excited to show it to you and talk about it and get everyone real gassed up for something that they can't have right now. That's my favorite thing to do in the world. Makes me feel like a real influencer in that regard. So, without any further wasting of your time, I want to thank you so much for watching. Could have sat down with anybody on the internet today, but instead, you chose to sit down with me, a guy wearing a shirt that you think is The Shining, but actually, he's just vibing. I will be back next week with a video on the M8. Look forward to that. Mark your calendars. Tell your moms, your wives, your kids. And until then, I'm Daniel. This is The Messy Desk, and I love you more than I love discovering my 2018 self was a little better at the octatrack than my current self. I'll see you next week. Peace.